Go!
System data that was on your Nintendo Switch system has been uploaded and stored. Download the data to a Nintendo Switch 2 system before the transfer deadline, or the data will be deleted. Oh my goodness. That was an email that I just got, and I'm Nikolai.
Yep. And I'm Brian. Hello.
And this is the Brothers Game Podcast.
Yeah.
I just did the system transfer thing on my old Switch so that I can give it to GameStop and get credit towards my Switch 2. Ooh. Oh, baby. As of recording this, Switch 2 is only like a week away.
Yep.
Which is pretty insane. That sounds made up to me. I don't know about you. But yeah, that's cool. Mm-hmm. What have you been up to?
Oh, stuff. So
I disagree. Tell me about that.
all right. First, Pokemon Stadium.
Did you talk about this at all in the last episode?
I probably briefly mentioned that I was going to start it, but
yeah, you were thinking about getting into it. I guess,
so probably 2-3 years ago, I started this save file on Pokemon Stadium.
So true fans remember that probably.
Yeah. So I beat I beat all of R1, beat Mewtwo, and then
R2D2.
unlocked R2. And
R2D2. Get it?
Beat most of Gym Leader Castle. But I hadn't really beat any of Stadium. And I wanted to build up some teams.
Real teams, yeah.
And obviously do it without cheats. That was kind of the whole goal of this, was beat the whole game without any cheats.
You were quite the cheater as a child.
Yes, I was. And so I was like getting into, okay, I'm going to catch a bunch of Pokemon and then look at all their DVs and compare them and pick the best one of the group and then level them up and then give them like protein and carbos and calcium and all that stuff and give them good
Very
moves.
expensive.
And I'm going to beat all the cups in all of the stadium. And so, I think last episode I said I did beat Pika Cup. I think I talked about that in one of the more recent episodes.
Okay.
That I'd beaten Pika Cup already.
And if not, now you know.
Yeah.
He beat
so
Pika
I did
Cup.
beat, and then I did beat Petite Cup.
Now what is Petite Cup?
It's only first stage Pokemon allowed.
Right.
So
Only
Pokemon
basic
like Abra and
Pokemon.
Dratini are really good in that.
Okay.
Ghastly, Geodude, actually,
Okay.
decent. It's been too long for me to remember all the details, but I do remember in the last battle, they kind of the guy just like gave me the win.
Okay.
Like I think it was
Like just good RNG, basically.
well, and just
Bad AI.
yeah. So with the levels, the total level of the 3 Pokemon that you pick from your 6 cannot be above a certain amount.
Okay. So it's an overall team cap.
Yeah, and I think it's either 30 to 35 or 20 to 25.
Okay.
And so the strategy is usually to min-max, so you have 1 level 35 and 2 level 30s or whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
This
One that's particularly strong.
this trainer,
This quote, air quotes, trainer.
they had a level 35 that they didn't use.
Oh, nice.
So I just sweeped them. The guy
Like
right before
purely
him,
off level, yeah.
I believe it was the guy right before him, was just giving me so much trouble.
Yeah.
I used like 2 or 3 continues on just
Okay.
that one trainer. And then the last guy, he just gives me the win.
Easy. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
Yep. So then for Poke Cup, you can't use Mewtwo. There's no legit way to get Mewtwo below level 70.
Right.
Which means he's disqualified from Poke Cup because that's 50 to 55.
Makes sense.
And then Mew is strictly not allowed, like within the game's rules.
It's just banned.
For Poke
Yeah,
Cup.
okay.
Yeah, he's just banned for Poke Cup. So I built a team with Starmie, Tauros, Executor, Zapdos, Chansey, and Rhydon. I believe was the team.
Makes sense. Sounds like strong Gen 1 Pokemon.
Yeah. So
Now, these are real Pokemon that you caught yourself
I caught all of them.
on a red cartridge. Mm-hmm. And, like, you literally transferred them with the N64 transfer pack and everything.
Yep.
Like, this is as legit as you could do it, yeah.
Yep.
So, that's cool. Especially for you, who's someone who hates grinding in any game ever. So, yeah.
Now,
This was quite a task for you.
Chansey is talked up a lot. Chansey is supposed to be really good. Chansey was terrible for me. And I think maybe mine just had really poor DVs and I just didn't really know exactly how to play it well. But yeah, I wound up not using Chansey at all after the first couple of times I tried.
Because, I know it is commonly used in the Gen 1 meta. So, yeah, that's interesting.
And yeah, so I had some difficult fights, I remember, but it was not too bad, and I got through it and beat it. Mm-hmm. And then, so for Gym Leader Castle, I was going to lead with Mewtwo and get the rest of the team up to level 70. But actually, in order to give Mewtwo Amnesia, he had to be level 81. That's when he learns it. So I had to get the whole team up to level 81. Mm-hmm. So that's many runs through the Elite Four.
Was that it? You just went through the Elite Four?
I just fought the Elite Four over and over again because way more efficient than fighting like Pokemon in Cerulean Cave.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Takes a lot less time.
And you get money to buy more vitamins and stuff, I guess. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that makes sense. And so were you just using one particular Pokemon and running through the whole thing?
Yeah, so at first I would So if I was like leveling Rhydon, I wouldn't have him fight Lorelei.
Sure.
I'd have someone else fight Lorelei, and then I'd have Rhydon fight as many as he could. Like Earthquake is great against Bruno's Onyxes and all of Agatha's Pokemon because they're all poison.
Because there's no Levitate.
Except Golbat, but you've got Rock Slide for Golbat. Yeah. So, and also Rock Slide for Gyarados and for Aerodactyl. Mm-hmm. And then Body Slam for almost everybody else.
For whatever else,
Yeah.
Especially once you're like 75 and higher, you're just one-shotting everything.
Yeah. And same with like Executor. So he's grass, which is weak to ice. So you got to be careful against Lorelei. But also you have Mega Drain, which is super effective against Lorelei's team. At least mine had Mega Drain anyway. So I managed to get up to level 81. And then I cleared through Gym Leader Castle. And that went pretty well. There was a couple of fights that were a little challenging, but overall, not that bad. Mm-hmm. And then at first, I was not going to bother getting up to level 100. I was like, that's just too much.
I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, so
off podcast, yeah.
So I got a team of rentals together, and
rental Pokemon suck.
They suck so bad.
Yeah.
They're horrible. But anyway, I beat Prime Cup Pokeball pretty easily because most of the trainers have unevolved Pokemon.
Okay.
So you can pretty easily sweep both Pokeball and Great Ball. Not really any trouble with rentals. But for Ultra Ball and Master Ball, they're all fully evolved and good. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to go for it. I've never leveled a team up to level 100, a whole team of 6 up to level 100 ever without rare candies.
Yeah, I mean, I've never done it in like pre-Gen 6 with no EXP share. So I think the first time I did it was in X and Y. So yeah, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, even my later gen teams usually top out in like the low 80s somewhere.
Yeah.
So, but I eventually managed to do it, and it was just fighting the Elite Four over and over and over again. You get roughly 50,000 EXP for beating the Elite Four, so and that's enough to level pretty much any Pokemon from 98 to 100.
Okay.
So that means you're pretty much guaranteed at least 2 levels, even in the 70s and 80s.
That's good. Thank goodness.
Mm-hmm. As long as that one Pokemon fights the entire Elite Four, which
I would think at that point it doesn't matter.
Once my team was level 80, they could all pretty much do it.
Yeah, because they won't really get a chance to attack you.
Yeah, like even Rhydon.
Was there one weird RNG thing that screwed you, or like anything, or was it pretty uneventful?
There were a couple of times where a Gyarados or something would crit me and I'd almost die, or even sometimes I did die. But that was about it. And then I got everybody to level 100, and so I do Prime Cup, and yeah, there was some interesting RNG going on in that game. So 2 times I
That's the
lost
fun of Pokemon, isn't
to
it?
one-hit KO moves,
Oh, jeez, yeah.
which are so absurdly low accuracy that the fact that
Yep.
2 times in one playthrough I got killed by one.
Like, I mean, 30% isn't 0, right?
Right.
But still, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So I remember you talking about the one-shot killing and the freezing that happens in Pokemon Stadium. And I looked up people's discussions, and yeah, there are people who are 100% convinced that the freeze rate is higher in Stadium, and that one-hit KO moves work more often in Stadium. I'm sure that's just, confirmation bias and and people's just own experiences and whatever.
But yeah.
But the consensus does feel, people seem to agree that it feels like it's more common.
There were at least 3 times where Pokemon were frozen solid in that play session that I did.
But I mean, it does happen.
Yep.
Freezing does happen. It's not impossible.
Yeah.
So
The last fight in Prime Cup Master Ball, I was just like an RNG king. Just like
you just
everything
got
was
lucky.
going my
Yeah.
way.
that's
It was
the
great.
best. Yeah. When RNG feels in your favor in Pokemon, it's amazing.
Yeah. And
just
this
always
this
doesn't
was
feel that
easily the strongest team I'd ever made. It was way stronger than any team I cheated to make as a kid because I didn't know anything about DVs back then, really.
Right.
I
These
obviously
are highly trained
Obviously, I
Pokemon.
could tell that when you caught different Pokemon, they had different stats.
Yeah.
And
But you didn't really look deep into it as a kid. Yeah.
So like my ultimate team was 5 Mewtwo's and a Mew.
yeah.
Because you could catch Mewtwo's sometimes in the wild on doing the missing no glitch.
Right. On the side of Cinnabar or whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
And so I caught a bunch of Mewtwo's that way. And the one that had the best stats was my leader. And he was difficult to take down, but he did ultimately get taken out by the R2 Mewtwo. But the second one was able to come in and
Sure.
take him out. But yeah, this was the most anticlimactic fight ever because I just ice beamed him on like the third turn, and he just froze.
And this was the final boss, basically.
Yeah, this is the final Mewtwo, the most powerful, and just
Amazing.
probably had perfect DVs and stat experience. But
And he never thawed. You just killed him.
yeah,
Wow. Amazing. That's
we were
that's
both
really
double
something.
amnesia boosted,
Oh yeah, nice.
so we both had
2
4
amnesias.
stages of special boost, and just
Oh, that's great.
ice beam spam, and he lost.
Yeah, last time I was playing, I think I was playing White 2, and I froze an opponent in a gym battle, and it was like down to the wire, like I was like near death. I remember, and so that was like the most clutch thing in the world. It felt amazing. And then he thawed 1 turn after, and so I was like, well, who cares, right? Anyway, yeah, just reminded me of that.
Yeah. I had Zapdos was probably he came in clutch often.
Zapdos is real good.
Yeah, like he saved the day a couple of times after Mewtwo fell. You don't expect Mewtwo to fall, but man, some of these stadium Pokemon are so bulky. And if you just get bad RNG or whatever, you just So I did train a Mew all the way to level 81, and I used him a little in Gym Leader Castle just for a couple of fights, and he wasn't very good.
That's interesting.
So I was using
His base stat total so high.
so I was using Swords Dance Body Slam, and it just wasn't hitting that hard.
Weird, because that has stab too, doesn't it?
No, because it's a normal type move, and he's psychic.
Oh, he's psychic type.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
No, if he
Yeah.
was normal, I think that might have made the difference.
Yeah.
But yeah. And so like Double Edge might have hit a little harder. Obviously Hyper Beam would have hit harder, but then I'd have to recharge. Explosion definitely hits hard if you Swords Dance first, but then you can't use Mew again.
Right, because then he's dead.
Yeah.
So.
So I only used him for like 2 or 3 fights and then stopped using him.
Gotcha.
But that's
Take
it.
that. Take that, Mew.
I
You
never
weren't-
have
you
to
weren't
play
real
Pokemon
anyway.
Stadium again.
Is that how it feels?
Kind
You're
of.
just like, oh, thank God.
So part of me would love to like say, okay, now that I've beaten it legitimately, now I don't mind if I use cheats. So what if I like cheat
Ultimate cheating.
until I get perfect DV Pokemon and get them with max stat experience so they all get maximum possible stats
Yeah.
and just steamroll everyone.
Yeah. See how easy it actually is.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you truly can.
that would be fun.
So,
Because you cannot, it's not possible to catch a Pokemon with perfect DVs in the first 2 gens.
okay, that makes sense. Because I
But-
think it's technically possible now for
Yeah.
EVs.
And I think in Gen 2 you
IVs,
might be able
but-
to breed a Pokemon with perfect DVs, but also it's Gen 2 breeding, so have fun with that.
What a nightmare. Oh, it takes so long
Mm-hmm.
for a single egg. So there's no, is DVs the only thing? There's not like IVs and EVs like there are later?
So instead of IVs and EVs, the equivalents are DVs and stat experience.
Okay.
But the difference is, it's so for stat experience, it's up to 65535 in each stat.
Okay.
So you can max out every stat in Gen
That's
1 and
crazy.
2,
Yeah.
as opposed to EVs in Gen 3 and later.
Right, which you can only max two of.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can continue to gain stat experience after level 100, but in order for it to die, you have to deposit them in the box and then withdraw them.
Okay. That's weird.
Yeah.
That's funny. So their stats can continue to increase after level 100 by doing that. That's
By doing that,
That's
yep.
crazy. Okay. So yeah, you really could have insanely broken Pokemon then. Interesting.
And then also I could hack in moves to
Well, sure.
Like-
give Pokemon any move you want.
give
yeah.
like a Flareon Fire Punch or something.
right.
Which I mean wouldn't make any difference in Gen 1, but still just
Right.
that kind of
True.
thing.
That's true. Yep, I always think
Like
in-
give Swords Dance to whoever I want.
Right. I think in such modern terms,
Yeah.
of physical and special split and IVs and EVs and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, and I mean, there's at this point, there's apps you could use instead of doing the missing no glitch and stuff.
Yeah.
You could just easily hack the cartridge much easier than doing an actual cheat. Especially with those early games, it's very easy to do that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. But that sounds like a lot of work.
Yep. So not
So there
planning
you
on
go.
doing it anytime soon, but it's an idea I have in the back of my mind.
But it is another childhood thing
Yeah.
checked off, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Finishing everything in Pokemon Stadium.
Yeah.
So you can do Stadium 2 now?
No. No, I will not.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I do have a ROM of it downloaded. I'm not gonna spend the money to buy a physical copy.
Yeah,
but I
they're
do have a
pretty-
ROM of it downloaded.
They're
so.
pretty spendy.
And it is possible to load your Game Boy ROMs into a
Oh, is it?
N64 ROM of Stadium. I've
That's
done it.
cool.
So
Yeah, I know people have figured out how to trade between emulators too.
Yeah.
So yeah, Pokemon fans are very, a lot of ingenuity going on.
no, I remember. I remember I would get because I believe you can trade items. Yeah, from Gen 1 to Gen 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I would get 99 rare candies and trade them
course.
up to gold and silver.
Yep. Perfect.
Yeah.
I love people figured out that you could shiny hunt in Gen 1.
Yeah.
That depending on a Pokemon's ID,
Mm-hmm.
will decide that if you traded it up to Gen 2, then it could be shiny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So technically there can be shinies in Gen 1
Right.
for various reasons. And I think it's very rare. I think it's very difficult, like way more than typical. So Yeah, Gen 2 is very weird with shinies,
Yeah.
where you can get your shiny odds down to like 1 in 100 with breeding, especially. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So in Pokemon Stadium, they sort of fixed the Gen 1 miss glitch where 1 in 256 chance to mix.
Oh, right, for tackle.
But Tackle didn't have 100% accuracy anyway in Gen 1.
didn't?
Nope. But
I always thought it did for some reason.
the way they did it was they basically ran the calculation twice. So instead of a 1 in
It's just
256 chance, it's a 1 in 65536 chance.
So it could absolutely still happen.
It can absolutely still happen.
That's ridiculous. That's funny. Mm-hmm. That sounds like what they would do to fix it. Why fix it when you can just, do that? Mm-hmm. That's great.
So now I'm playing Super Mario 64.
Oh, heck yeah. A game I love and a game you don't love.
This is another playthrough I started probably 2 or 3 years ago, and I did talk about it on the podcast 30 episodes ago, maybe more. Uh-huh. But so for the first few worlds, I was feeling like kind of on top of the world. I'm like, I'm good at this game.
I'm good at this game.
That didn't last long.
The first few levels are very easy.
That didn't last very long.
What was the first level that gave you trouble? Do you remember?
Lethal Lava Land.
Okay. I mean, that's bottom floor at least.
Yeah, that's definitely the one that really made that ground everything to a halt. That's where I stopped.
Okay.
For 2 or 3 years.
Were you finishing on this playthrough? Have you been finishing every level?
Yep.
Before moving on?
Pretty much.
Okay, but not necessarily 100%.
Right, but pretty much.
All 6 plus the 100 coins done.
Yeah. So I have done that for every level except Shifting Sandland.
So that's how I was playing it also.
Yeah.
Because I'd never played it like that, I don't think. Mm-hmm. Not moving on to another level, period, until I 100%ed it. Yeah. And so in my playthrough, I forget how many stars it is, but I just finished the downstairs completely.
Yeah.
So everything but the upstairs now. So including, Bowser and the red coins there and stuff.
So when I picked this back up, the first thing I did was finish Hazy Maze Cave.
Yeah.
And
I love Hazy Maze Cave.
The red coin star.
Yeah.
It almost broke me.
Is it
so horrible. The elevator with the switches. Yeah.
The up, down, left, right switches.
It took me so long. So long. But I did get it.
The only thing I hate about that, which gave me a lot of trouble, and I almost died because of it. It's so stupid because of fall damage. Is getting 100 coins on that and the eyeballs that are on the very corners of those platforms. So it's really hard to run around them to get them to die. I hate that.
I gave up on the eyeballs.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not even going to do these. So I found other ways to get the 100 coins.
Yeah, you don't actually need them to get the 100 coins, but they're 5 coins, so I wanted to get them. So I wasted my time doing that.
So I went and got all the red coins, and then I had to get them all again to get the 100 coins, and I was like, I don't like this. I hate this. I want it. I want this to stop.
On that level, I get the red coins last. So I get 90 coins otherwise, and then go and get the red coins. So
the rest of the level was not notably
it's not
difficult.
Too bad. I like that level a lot.
And then I did finally get everything on Lethal Lava Land, including 100 coin.
Mm-hmm. See, that's another one I have 0 issues with, and it's one of my favorite levels. The 100 coins, definitely the best way is getting the turtle shell and just flying around the whole level, because very few things actually can knock you off of the shell in that level unless you just run straight into a wall. But and there's a lot of coins just kind of strewn about. In one area that's really hard to get to without the turtle shell anyway. I think it's definitely meant to be that way. And I think in general there's a lot of coins on that level, especially if you go into the mountain and stuff.
I had to go in the mountain. There was no way there wasn't enough coins.
I think it's
otherwise. I
think you have to go in the mountain. I don't think there is 100 coins outside of it, but I could be wrong about that.
So So yeah, returning to this playthrough was off to a rough start. But
Because you're on harder levels for
yeah.
sure.
But just today and like a couple of days ago, I've had a great time actually.
Okay, cool.
So
In the upstairs.
I gave up for now on shifting sandland.
Okay. On what? What did you give up on?
Red coins.
Exactly. The red coins.
The flying to get them.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. It's very annoying with
I'll
the pillars
be flying
and stuff.
forward and then dip just as I'm coming to the coin and then come back up on the other side of the coin. It is infuriating.
Yeah.
I've died so many
There's the
times
bird
on shifting
and-
sand
Well,
land.
there's so much sand there where the instant you touch it, you die.
Yeah.
It's very annoying for sure.
I did go
One
in.
of my least favorite.
I did go
levels.
into the mountain and beat the two hands with the eyes.
Yep.
That I
Classic.
completely forgot was even in the game.
Yeah. Classic Mario boss there. They do a 2-hand boss in almost every game.
Yeah. I also got the like initial star you get on the inside.
That's just like at the top or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or no, it's just right there. Actually, you don't even have to go inside. But.
Yeah. So all that's left is like red coin, 100 coin, and I got the one with the 4 pillars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Finally, that one took forever.
Yeah, because you just smack.
Oh wait, I guess that was
That is the hands.
the hands.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But yeah, you smack into a pillar and fall and die instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
just getting onto the pillar that's in the middle of the quicksand
Yeah.
took several attempts. Just doing that.
Yeah, that one's all about flight for sure. Yeah, again, one of my least favorite levels.
So
in
as
the
soon
game,
as I
so-
gave up on shifting sandland and moved to other levels, I started having way more fun.
That's good.
So first I went to Dire Docks and got
Yeah.
all the rest of the stars. I had only had 2 at that point, and so I got the other 5.
That's where I got my first hiccup, is because I was doing all of it. I was trying to do the whole level, but I hadn't done Bowser yet.
Oh yeah.
And I forgot that if you don't do Bowser, the sub stays there, and the poles don't appear.
Oh.
The poles just aren't there until you beat Bowser. So
Wow.
yeah, so I had to do that real quick.
Yeah.
So I had gotten like 70 coins. I was going to do 100 coin star and red coins, and I'd gotten 70 coins, and then realized the poles weren't there. So, oops.
Yep.
So
But yeah,
I did Bowser, and then I did that. So
Yeah.
that's the last thing I did was Bowser, and then finishing that level. So
Yeah. So I had a good time with Dire Docks.
it's
Not too bad. It was red coins was a little tedious, but I got it. And then actually doing 100 coins was almost easier because I had figured out the red coin the process for that.
and yeah, up by the poles there's a blue switch with like
Yep.
6 blue coins.
And I left that for last so that the star would appear right there. I always
Make it easy.
plan for where the
Yes.
star is going to appear.
You got to be careful with that.
Yeah. So then I did Snowman's Land,
Yeah,
and
I love that level.
I only really struggled with the 100 coin star.
Okay.
And it's because I was trying to use the shell to get into the igloo.
Yeah.
And it took me several tries just to even do that.
Yeah.
I just kept like hitting a wall or something and getting thrown off the
Yeah,
shell.
I find it easier to get in there without it because
Oh, really?
because the shell's so.
I didn't know
annoying.
how to get in there without it, and I wasn't going to bother to look because I knew how.
I usually go
to
up
get
the mountain like
Yeah.
above it and then jump down to
Yeah.
it. There's a little
I
spot you
didn't
can
know
do that,
where to
so.
go to get to
Yeah,
there.
it's weird. So.
But anyway, I got all the stars on the Snowman's Land, and then
On Snowy Mountain Syndrome.
Yeah. And I just
I love that
finished
level.
all of Wet Dry World.
The scariest level in the game. If you go,
Really?
oh yeah, that's a whole thing. People talk about how creepy.
Oh, because of the ghost town.
Uncanny that level is. Yeah, and
Yeah.
and the skybox and the music, and
Yeah.
a lot of people just feel it's very uncanny and whatever.
So I
it's a whole
remember
thing.
as a kid spending many hours on that level and not really accomplishing
Not
anything.
getting it. Yeah, it's a fairly large level compared to
Mm-hmm.
some of the other ones. So
But this time it was just one after the other. I got all the stars.
sweet. Yeah, I like that one.
And I had an easier time with the last star and with 100 coins than I did with even the red coin.
Yeah,
star.
I think there's a lot of coins on that level.
Yeah.
so
I
that
got the
makes sense.
100 coins without even going to the town.
Yeah. So, and you just told me before the podcast that you didn't know about that town.
Right. I had no idea it
The
existed.
tiny town.
I saw it for the very first time today.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
A game you played like as a child.
For years.
Yeah. You're like, what is this? Yeah, that's so funny. I'm like, that's where the red coins are. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I had no idea how to get there because I didn't even know there was. Well, I knew there was a cannon somewhere because I saw the pink bomb, but I never knew how to get to the pink bomb, and I never knew how to activate the cannon, and I never knew where the cannon was. And so because of that, I had no idea how to get to the town.
That's awesome. I think you can get there without the cannon too.
Yeah, you can get. I know that there's if you jump so that you enter the level at the highest possible point, the water level will be higher than you can even get it with any of the switches.
Right.
And I think you can maybe just swim right in. I don't think you even need the cannon
Makes sense.
if you do it that way. But so
I think you can jump into it at the right, if you're at the right spot. I feel like I've done that. Anyway, but don't worry about it.
So I have found that triple jumping is probably the single hardest thing in the whole game for me to do.
Yeah, I mean, timing it really well is pretty tough, actually. So
It's actually easier for me to do the side flip or
the side
wall
is
jumps.
more useful because it's easier to execute for sure. Some stuff, the backflip actually is useful also if something's just slightly higher. Yeah. I remember, did you have trouble with back in Jolly Roger Bay with the 100 coins?
Actually, not really.
Okay.
I watched a video on it and I just did what they did, and it wasn't that big a deal.
It's an issue for people because, like, if you miss a blue coin, for instance, it's impossible.
Yeah, I think there's only 103 coins
There are
or something.
104, I think.
Yeah.
In the level, so.
Yeah, and
So
Dire
missing a
Docks
blue,
is
that's
not that
5,
different. It's
so.
like 106 or something.
Yeah.
So,
It's just saying the water levels in particular have less coins.
Yeah.
But
Also,
just curious.
Booze Haunt,
Yeah.
super easy.
It's easy.
Which,
I love that level.
as a kid,
but
I don't think I ever got a single star in that whole level.
that's awesome.
And
It's
this time,
spooky. It's
it
too
was not that
scary.
hard. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that level a lot. So, yep, I had fun with that one. Yep, I got to get back into it. You're about to play my least favorite level in the game. Big, small, big, small world or whatever.
Yeah. Tiny, huge island.
Tiny, huge, yeah. Definitely my least favorite level.
Yeah.
For many
I've never
reasons.
gotten a star on that level before.
Oh,
ever,
wow.
So
Okay. Good
this
luck.
will be interesting.
Good luck. Rainbow Cruise is tough too, but
Yeah.
that one is my least favorite level.
There's also the big mountain. And there's always been that star in the distance that I never knew how to get.
Oh yeah, the mushroom one.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that level. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a cannon. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Is so I found a cannon, but I don't think it was the right cannon.
Oh yeah.
Because it
No,
just
this cannon's weird. It's like below the level, sort of. Yeah.
because it never shot me far enough.
Yeah, no, different cannon for sure. Because you're talking about the one that's higher up, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one.
That's the only one I knew of.
Yeah, this one's pretty hidden. So, yep. And if
I'm
you,
often
if you
getting the
miss just a
stars
little
in-
bit. You do fly right
Yeah,
past it. Though,
I'm often
so-
getting the stars in different order than just the normal
Oh yeah,
order.
just getting it, whichever ones you want.
Like
yeah.
in Booze Haunt, I decided to go for 100 coin first,
Yeah, it's not a tough 100 coins. So.
and so by the time
you get quite a few stars on the way to 100 coins.
by the time I got to 100 coins, I had 3 stars unlocked.
That sounds right. Well, yeah, because just destroying booze always gives you a blue coin.
Yeah.
So, especially in the merry-go-round, there's like 6 booze or whatever. So.
Even the books that fly out of the shelves, I missed 3 of them, and I
Yeah.
still got 100.
Oh, yeah.
coins.
You don't even need the books.
Because
Yeah.
they each give you a blue coin.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that one has I wonder if that level has the most coins in it. I don't know.
Maybe.
I wanted to mention early on in my playthrough, the red cap level. Mm-hmm. I want you to know that for the first time in my life ever, I got the star on that in one try. The flying down and getting the 8 red coins.
Yeah.
I had never done that before in one try, and I was so happy because I hate that. And it was over. Thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have, the problem is that I have 9 Castle Secret stars, but I don't know which 9.
Yeah.
And it's the only way I know of to check is to just get the star again.
Get them again. Yeah, exactly.
Like, I just went and was like, I don't know if I got the red coins for the Bowser in the Dark World, so I got it, and then it was blue. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
All that effort for nothing.
Not the easiest mission either.
No.
So, yeah, that sucks. The second Bowser was way easier.
Yeah,
I feel like.
that's what I'm doing right now is Bowser in the Fire Sea.
Yeah. That one's not nearly as bad, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, there often I just forget a toad that gives you a star or something. Something like that.
Yeah. I haven't caught the bunny yet.
Oh, yeah. I love catching the bunny.
It took a long time when I was a kid, and I don't think it's going to take any less time now.
Oh, really? Oh,
It's just difficult for
I
me.
find it easy, so. It's funny, the second one I did even faster than the first one,
Yeah.
which was cool. Oh, I gotta go outside. Isn't there one outside now? I wonder. Right, I think there's one outside eventually. I forgot about that. Maybe I'm thinking of a different game though too.
Yeah. Well, I've got a web page that's got all of them, so I'm just following that.
Yeah. Oh, and the blue coin. Did you do or not the blue coin, the blue hat?
I'm gonna guess I haven't gotten that one yet because I never knew how to before.
Really?
So yeah,
Gotcha.
like I knew how to get to the level, but I never knew how to get the star.
Yeah, there's just red coins.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know how to get all of them.
Yeah.
So I'll need to figure that one
Yeah,
out.
during the main like slide down area, you just have to do it in the right order.
I'm pretty
to not miss
sure I
one,
got
but-
the one in Hazy Maze Cave.
Yeah, that one's not too hard.
But yeah.
The metal cap one. Yeah.
Because I'm pretty
stuff.
sure I got that when I unlocked the metal cap. Because
Yeah,
right
I
there.
just tried to get those out of the way right when I could, basically, and that's worked out so far. So, yep.
Yeah. I don't remember if I got both of the Peach race ones. I think I did.
The main
I think
one and the 20 seconds one.
I think I tried until I got them, but I don't know that I got both of them.
Yeah.
I might have only gotten the first one.
So if at the end of the game you have 119 stars, you know what to you know what to try.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff. Yep, I'm definitely I'll get back into it as well. So I can catch up to you. Oh, big stretch.
I'd like to get all 120 because then I'll like be able to like permanently close this chapter and just be like, okay, if I ever play it again, it'll just be for fun.
End of chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you could, if you never want to play it again, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Because you did it. You got to the top of the castle and talked to Yoshi.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not easy. I've only done it a couple of times, actually gotten all 120. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, the fact you've done it more than once even at all.
Yeah.
Like
But I love this game. So.
I have like 83 stars, which is more than I've ever had in this game.
So I mean, clearly you have the ability, you know. So
Yeah. So even though some parts of it are extremely difficult for me, a lot of stuff is not that bad actually.
Yeah, that's good.
So that's cool.
You're definitely not a kid anymore. Some stuff as a kid just feels totally impossible.
I think the only games that I was ever better at as a kid than I am now are the ones that take constant like practice. Like if you
playing it for an
stop
entire
playing
summer.
for a few weeks that you lose your edge.
Yeah.
So games like Halo.
Uh-huh.
I'm definitely nowhere near as good as I used to be.
For sure.
Guitar Hero.
For sure.
And Mario Kart 64.
Oh yeah.
Because I beat Banshee Boardwalk on 150cc, and I'm not sure I could ever do that again. So, and I'm
the special cup.
I'm comfortable never trying to do it again.
That's funny.
I remember that being a pretty painful experience.
Like,
so
never again. Yeah.
I did it once. So
Well, we should mention that we have Nintendo Wiis.
yes,
also.
we each got one.
We both got a Nintendo Wii in the year of our Lord 2025.
Yes.
You gave me one for my birthday, which
Yes.
was very cool. My birthday was a couple weeks ago. Almost 30. Thank you. I'm 29.
Yep.
and it's a very nice all black Wii with all the necessary accessories, which was
Yeah.
nice.
So to get to get yours, I traded in my Switch Lite and a few games. And then to get mine, I traded in my Halo Edition Xbox.
Which hurt me a little bit.
It was a cool collector's item, but I just was not playing it. Like, I even had...
I care more about collector's items than you do.
we
I
even
think, so.
recorded that episode where I had replaced the motherboard inside it.
Yeah.
You know, ever since I replaced that motherboard, I've played like 2 games for a grand total of maybe a couple of hours. And that was it in like 2-3 years ish. And so
You're like, whatever.
it's just taking up space. I'm not playing it. And
But it's green. It looks so cool.
It wasn't worthless.
Sure. Yeah.
Now, as I mentioned, I got lowballed a bit because they are selling this at Retro Game Trader for $500. And
You got 175.
I traded in an Xbox, 2 controllers, a game that was not worth really anything, and Smash Ultimate, which is currently not worth much of anything because it's so common.
Did you get like $20 for Smash?
No, I got like $2 for Smash.
What?
Yeah,
Why'd you even sell it then?
whatever.
Keep it. You could have.
Yeah, whatever. So
I could never.
Here's the thing: is so I got
just don't give a
210
crap.
for
Yeah,
that whole
that's fine.
box of stuff, and
I would have gotten more because I'm level 3 there.
oh well, excuse me,
got a
I'm still
bonus.
level 2.
Bonus 10%. So
Yeah, I got bonus 5% for level
Anyway.
2. So, but here's the thing: the alternative was listed on Mercari or whatever. Wait for somebody to buy it.
Hopefully, if they ever do.
Hopefully, they pay the price that I'm actually asking for, as opposed to trying to make offers that are less. Then ship it to them. Hope they get it and that it works and that they don't complain to the seller platform about anything. And wait for their money to come in. Like, go
Which
through
takes, like,
that
2
whole
weeks,
process.
and Mercari takes a chunk.
Yeah.
But you get like an extra $100 probably.
Yeah.
So
go through all that process
Yeah.
for each piece of this.
yes, yeah. If you didn't sell it as a set or whatever, yeah.
Or take it to Retro and have them handle everything. Support a local business that I want to stay
Very
alive.
true. Very true.
And so, yeah, that's why I accepted their lowball offer.
Understandable. Yeah. But you got credit.
Yes.
You got a Wii and everything you wanted.
And I've still got over $100
Right.
bucks in store credit.
And that's
there.
nice.
So that's nice. I did look to see. So the other thing I'm considering trading in is my Xbox Series S,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
because I never play it. Because the only thing on it that I care about is Halo Master Chief Collection. And really the things I care about on Master Chief Collection are Halo 2 and 3, which I have physical copies of.
Yeah. And you can get Master Chief Collection on Steam if you really want
Which
it.
I actually have it on Steam
Yeah.
also.
So
on
there
that,
you go.
on that console, I have PSO2, which was free. I have Halo 5 Guardians, which was not a good game.
right.
I have Halo Infinite, which was a okay game.
Which
and
is
then I have
which the
Master
multiplayer
Chief.
is free if you want to play that on Steam.
And I have Master Chief Collection. So, yeah.
So there you go.
I've also thought about, like, okay, what about getting an Xbox Series X? Because maybe that will have good enough performance.
More question
Maybe
mark?
that'll have good enough performance that I'll finally not be unhappy with it, because
No way.
supposedly this has better performance than the 360 or the Xbox One, but the load times are horrible. And
Absolutely.
yeah. And like, I want to turn the console on and start playing,
Right.
not sit
But it's
there
not a
and
Switch, so.
first wait for a 20 gigabyte update and then also have the game take forever to load. And yeah, it's just terrible.
And yet people hate on Nintendo. But
Yeah.
none of that happens with Nintendo stuff. So
Yeah, none of my Switch games do that. so.
whatever.
But you know,
The price you pay for slightly higher frames or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah. But Brian, the ray tracing.
yeah,
So anyway, we both got Wii's.
yes.
Why did we get Wii's, Brian?
To emulate GameCube games.
That's what I'm talking about. To finally mod something. I've modded too many mobile consoles. This is my first time modding a home console.
Yeah.
I've only done mobile things. So I've been wanting to do this for a long time because there's many Wii and GameCube games that I really love and would love to play that I don't own because they're very expensive, especially GameCube games are insanely expensive right now.
Yeah.
Now, I do have a Wii U, and I did consider modding that, but I like my Wii U, and I have games that I bought for it, like Virtual Console stuff, that I know I could re-download, but I purchased them, and I like them being on it,
Yeah.
And the plus side to the Wii is the built-in GameCube hardware, basically.
Yes.
The top of the Wii has 4 ports for controllers, 2 slots for memory cards. It literally plays GameCube games.
Yeah.
It does. It's
Yeah.
not.
It doesn't have to emulate
emulator.
them because it has the hardware.
It's the same reason I love the 3DS modding
Yeah.
because it can natively play 3DS, DS, and Game Boy Advance games. It's literally the system playing it. It's not emulator.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. I think that makes a difference in how a game plays.
Yeah.
So I was very excited about the prospect of this.
I was curious looking into this. So the PS2, the fat PS2, has
Yes, the one I have. The best one.
PS1 has a PS1 CPU,
Yes.
but they have a shared GPU, I believe. So
okay.
GPU is emulated, but everything else is not.
Okay.
So whether that counts as emulation or not is kind of up to people to discuss.
Right.
Like, I believe
It's at least-
some will say if the CPU isn't being emulated, then it's not emulation.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think it is still, from what I've seen, it's considered native. So same with actually the PSP can natively play PS1 games also. So, yeah.
even though it can't play the physical disc, obviously, because it's
course.
too large. So,
Yes.
but it can play the ROMs. Yeah,
It's the whole hardware playing the game, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah. So, which I just think is great. So.
yeah. I believe how it works with PS2 is it changes to PS1 mode, and then
Yeah,
plays
and
it
see,
as
that's
if it
what,
was a PS1.
and that's what the Wii U does. It has a Wii mode,
yeah,
which is basically an emulator of a Wii and a GameCube, which I don't like as much. So, while it can technically play GameCube games,
yeah.
not the same in my opinion. So I got that, of course. I got a 256 gig micro SD and an adapter, which may have been a mistake, but I made
It
it
did
work.
make things more complex.
I made it
for
work
you.
anyway. I did read that those can cause issues, and I had a weird issue. But in general, it was fairly painless.
Yeah,
I was surprised how well the Wii connected and stuff. Because I had read that with modern routers, especially, the Wii is so old. The same thing happens with the Nintendo DS. I'm telling you all about this because I know for a fact you had issues.
Yes.
So I'm just reiterating, mine was so painless. Updated and connected, no problem. And I had 0 issues modding it. Nothing weird came up for a while. But like when I was doing there's a whole NAND backup thing, which backs up the entire system's code, basically. So even if
it's good if you brick the system.
if it
right?
bricks, you can actually restore it a lot of the time, which is great. And I remembered when it's going through every little byte and system, chunk or whatever. It's normal to have a couple bad ones that don't quite, copy perfectly and stuff. I had 0. It was all
nice.
all green, baby, which apparently is rare. So I'll take that. I guess I
nice.
got a good Wii.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'd love to hear about your experience updating your console,
So,
Brian.
I have a 128 gig full size SD card on the way. It'll
Should be
here tomorrow.
plenty of space.
Yeah, because I only have 20 gigs worth of ROMs anyway. So.
I had 100.
So, about the Wi-Fi thing. So now that I'm a network engineer.
Yeah, you do this for a job.
I understand how a lot of this stuff works. So we have a Ubiquiti Unify access point as our Wi-Fi in this house. I got it because I can fiddle with stuff, and it's a nice like business grade
Sure.
access point.
Is that one of the cool like white discs?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
little UFO.
Yeah. Pretty sick.
So in order to do a factory reset on this, there's a little reset button. There's a little hole, and you stick a little thing in it.
Oh, one of those.
Yeah.
Classic.
So the last time I tried to factory reset this, I stuck a thing in there and just the button just sheared off. I was like, cool. I have no way to factory reset this, it looks like. So I just didn't worry about it for like 2 or 3 years.
Like, hopefully I never have to do that again.
Because it was working. And it's like, this is not worth the effort right now to fix. So I just let it go. But so what had happened is, so with these, they're designed so that you can deploy a whole bunch of them and then centrally control them all. And you can like have the same Wi-Fi network on all of them at the same time. So that as you move from one room to the next, you can just move from one access point to the next.
Right.
Really smoothly. It's a nice
Seamless,
system.
good Wi-Fi.
And you can control all sorts of stuff on like how the radios work and network segmentation, security, and stuff like that.
Good stuff, yeah.
In order to do that, you do one of two things. You either buy a Ubiquiti Cloud Key, which I was not going to do, because there's also just a free Windows app that you can run to manage it.
Take that.
Which is how I've always done it. Actually, at one job, I had a Linux virtual machine that just ran it 24/7. So at one point, I had gotten it set up. I had gotten it connected to one of the computers in the house and had the Unify controller running on it. And I set up a username and password, and I promptly forgot the password.
Excellent.
Because I was being clever, I guess, and came up with a password I don't normally use, which is never a good
password
idea.
That was too good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
So then when the time came when I wanted to...
It's time, I'm just going to say it's time for us to become old people. We just get a Post-it and write it and stick it wherever the thing is.
Yeah.
So you never forget it, okay?
So... the time came I needed to readopt it on a different computer. I think the old computer was blown away, and I had reinstalled the OS or something. So I didn't have that version of the Unified controller anymore, and I didn't have the password. So the only way to factory reset it without the password is the reset button, which I had broken. So what I had to do was I had to take the whole thing apart. I had to pull off all the plastic, pull the little circuit board out, and then take some tweezers and touch them to the two contacts where the button was, while plugging in the Ethernet the Ethernet cable. Just do that at the same time and hold it there until the light flashed a certain way, and then let go, and then it factory reset. Which that took several minutes. As an
electrician.
But I finally got that pulled off. So
That's
then
ridiculous.
I was able to readopt it on just my computer and set up a different password that I now have saved. And updated to the latest firmware and that kind of thing. But also I was able to enable like the older protocols that the Wii uses so that it would actually support it, because those were disabled because none of our modern devices need those older, weaker security things.
Thankfully, apparently mine wasn't good enough that it didn't have an issue. So
the problem with using the nicer, fancier stuff is it doesn't always support the older, crappier stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Like I was going to go into something else, but I should continue. I should finish my Wii modding stuff. So you're waiting on your SD card still, right?
That should get here tomorrow
to actually get into it. But so we were using the the like main hub for Wii hacking. It's just Wii.hacks.guide.
Yeah.
Those websites are constantly updated with like the newest information. They're the best options. I did the same thing with the 3DS. It's like 3dhacks.guide also.
Yeah.
And so for the newest firmware on the Wii, it's recommended to use a program called ModMe, which is a very pretty streamlined program, which I like a lot. The best thing about modding these older consoles this far in the future is that everything's pretty streamlined and well understood.
Yeah.
Which is very helpful, especially when you don't know that much about the deep hardware of these things. So, ModMe has a like command line version, but it also has a skin version that has a GUI and stuff.
Yeah.
Much easier, I think. So, you just click whatever you need. Oh yeah, you need to find your MAC address.
Yeah. I already did that part.
You got that part? Okay, cool. And so I had a pretty painless experience. You just connect your SD card to your computer, which I need to give you back your SD card reader if you're going to do this, because mine was not working in my laptop. It was being weird again. So I would start transferring stuff, and in the middle, it would just disconnect and reconnect. Yeah, a nightmare. Yeah. So.
I was curious, do you have a different folder for each game, or are they all in one folder? On the SD card.
On the SD card, they're in different folders.
Oh, okay.
I mean, like the Wii games are all in one folder. The GameCube games are all in one folder.
Oh, okay.
But you don't even have to decide that. ModMe comes with two, because there's some weird formatting things you have to do. So ModMe comes with Wii Backup Manager and GameCube Backup Manager, two separate programs.
Okay.
You go into these programs, you say, here's my folder on my computer with all my Wii, like .wbz files or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
And then this is the SD card I want you to put them on. And it automatically formats them and adds them to your SD card.
Cool.
For Wii and GameCube games. The programs are slightly different, but they do the same thing basically. Which is helpful because the Wii games especially have to be in a very specific format, named specific things, and then the GameCube one each game has to have its ID number, which is random string of characters it looks like, which is set for every game. Like every game has the same, has a particular code, but instead of having to Google what your game code is for Mario Sunshine, it just automatically adds it to the name and stuff. And all of that should work perfectly and should make it so it's really easy to see everything. Once you've added them all, the actual modding that happens is really cool. You put it all in your SD card, right?
Yeah.
And you put it into your Wii, open up the Wii menu, and then you go to like the notifications, I think.
Yeah, the Wii message board.
The message board, yeah. You go like a day before, and there's just like this icon you press, and it just exploits and hacks and stuff. Really cool. It's great.
Hacking the mainframe.
Hacking the mainframe.
I'm in.
Once everything's done, there's a program called USB Loader GX, which is kind of your like platform you actually select your game files on. But it's a very nice looking program. It automatically can download the like game covers and stuff so that you like see the covers of all the games you have and stuff. Really nice. I ran into an issue that apparently no human on Earth has ever had, because this has been around for years, and I could not find a single post about it. Which I can go through it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Now that we're near the end here. So basically, all of my Wii games were on there. Perfect. They were all showing up. But only, I had like 80 GameCube games, I think, or something. And only the first 27 were showing up.
Yeah.
and literally the first 27, like in alphabetical order, they were showing up just fine. And Googling why only some GameCube games were showing up, no one has that issue. Either it's fixed and everything's fine, or none of them are showing up.
Yeah.
And when none of them are showing up, it's because you didn't name the folder the right thing. You didn't name the GameCube files the right thing with the game code and all that. No, all of that was perfect because it was done automatically anyway. But I double checked anyway, made sure they're all named the same thing, and there was nothing different between the 27 that did load and the other ones. Nothing was different.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is just weird. And so I tried totally uninstalling USB loader and reinstalling it, removing all the games, which took forever, and re-adding all the games, which took forever also. Eventually I got rid of those 27 and then redid that, and then only like 10 showed up. Randomly the other ones.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, see, now it's recognizing them. Like, clearly it can recognize them. That makes no sense. And there's a different program that was automatically installed to the Wii called Nintendo Don't. And that's the sort of GameCube loader that like gets it to recognize it as a GameCube game, right? And USB loader uses that to actually start up the games. And if I went from that menu, they all showed up, and I could play all of them. They were all playable.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm like, so clearly this is a USB loader issue. But again, looking up anything like that, could not find anything. So I was like, this has to be because I'm using a micro SD and an adapter. Clearly, for some reason, it can't read it thoroughly, or somehow the pathing is messed up because of it. Like, I'm like, this has to be, that's the only explanation, basically. So I was like, if this is a pathing issue and it's just not reading the whole folder for some reason, I'm going to try renaming the folder that the games are in, and then resetting the pathing. Say, go from this folder instead. So I try that, and now like 40 of the games are showing up instead of only 27. And I'm like, I can't believe that just worked.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane. It's crazy to have a problem the internet doesn't know about, and you have to come up with the fix for it. So, hey, by the way, if you have this issue, I'm telling you how to fix it right now. I'm like, well, that's ridiculous. Let's try it again. I rename it again to another different thing, reset the pathing there. Now like 60 are showing up. Like, genuinely now more of them are showing up. Absolutely ridiculous. So now at this point, most of them are there. So what I did was I took the ones that aren't showing up and put them in a different folder called like Weird, I called it. It was a folder within the folder. So this is now like GameCube games. And then there's another folder called Weird where the other games are in. And I set that as like a secondary pathing. And once I did that, they all showed up. Absolutely ridiculous. Makes no sense. That shouldn't work. The USB loader clearly has issues with this. But hey, I don't care because I made it work in the end. So yeah. Once that's done, it's nice to see all your beautiful games. On
that reminds me, there were a couple of times where I've run into the character limit for Windows file paths.
Oh, yeah.
It can only be, I think, 256 characters long.
Jeez. That's pretty long.
Some like programming like compilers, they create these nested folders that just are several levels deep and often have these long strings as their names.
Right.
So it's actually pretty easy to hit that limit with some developer code. I ran into that issue when I was working at a software company where I was trying to figure out the best ways to back up data from these development machines. And yeah, I ran into that pathing issue.
Yeah, how funny.
I think ever since 64-bit Windows has been common. I think that they increased the path limit. But
that's nice.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it should be programmer friendly, right? Yeah, that's a goal. So, yeah, that's funny. Weird things, right? Weird things that hopefully that doesn't happen to you. But I know you also have way less games too.
Yeah,
so.
I do have a lot less games. But yeah, if it does happen to me, then
You know what
I
to try.
have some ideas on how to fix it.
Yeah. I would also look into the WiiWare material that's available that you can download. WiiWare were games that were download only from the Wii Shop channel, as well as Virtual Console.
Yeah.
They have quite a few N64 games and stuff that run really well on the Wii. So, also MGBA has a version for Wii for modded
nice.
Wiis that works very well as well. So you could have Game Boy Advance on there too. So
Cool.
at this point, I think I have I can emulate every Nintendo console that I want to, basically, besides the Switch, right? The newest one.
Like everything from Famicom up through Wii U.
Yeah. So like I don't have a modded Wii U,
Right.
but I physically have every Wii U game I want. And if I don't have it on Wii U, I have the port / remake for Switch.
Yeah.
Physically. So I'm set basically.
Yeah.
now I just have like choice blindness and stuff, because now I just have every game I could ever want.
I did jokingly say you should try the Wii U version of Breath of the Wild and see how it compares.
Seriously, that's the first one I played. I owned it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I owned it because I didn't have a Switch. I didn't get a Switch at launch. I got a Switch as a wedding gift.
Yeah.
Which was a good while after it came out. So after playing, I think I got it because Perry brought over his Wii U version of Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
Our friend Perry, one of my groomsmen, great dude. Shout out to Perry. And I played a little bit of the prologue and was so obsessed. I'm like, I know I'm gonna want this for Switch when I get a Switch, but I have to get this now. So I played it on Wii U for a little bit.
Interesting.
Yep.
I don't even remember this.
I mean, it's like 10 years ago now,
Yeah.
basically. Almost, or basically. So, yeah. I'm so excited to play the Switch 2 versions of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
That would be the side by side to do the Wii U versus Switch 2 version.
Gosh, yeah. Like Wii U was HD, thank God. It had HDMI, but yeah, it doesn't really compare.
I did get an
especially to
HDMI
Switch 2.
cable for my Wii, which was cool.
That's really nice.
I didn't know it actually had that. So
An adapter. Yeah, I saw that in your picture you sent me. That's really awesome. Yeah, I've been playing it. My modded Wii on a little CRT.
yeah.
We have a small CRT with a built-in VCR on it. And it looks pretty good. Like, for what it is. It's really cool to have all the Guitar Heroes and Rock Bands. 'Cause
Yeah.
they released most of them for the Wii. And I have two, Wii guitar controllers. And on a CRT, it just works so much better. It doesn't have that lag.
Actually,
so
I have all the Guitar Hero games that I actually want on my 360.
yeah, you have the whole set, basically.
If I ever wanted to, I could get them all on my Wii now, and the Wii Guitar Hero controllers are cheaper because the actual controller is the Wiimote. So, yeah.
Yeah, they're still not cheap
Right.
because of the hype around like Clone Hero and stuff, but they're certainly cheaper than like a good quality 360 one or whatever. So, so yeah, I'm like, I wish it had Guitar Hero 1 and 2. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But if I ever mod my PS2, I'll
You know what I
I'll do
forgot?
that, so.
That Guitar Hero 3 came out on PS2.
Yeah, I think up to 5 came out on PS2. If I'm not, I really think up to 5 came out on PS2.
Maybe.
Because I was looking.
I think there must have been some overlap where they simultaneously released on 2 and 3.
It's like how the last Wii game was Just Dance 2020. They released on the Wii.
Yeah.
Like years after the Wii U came out.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things, like companies that want to have the widest reach possible sometimes go real back far in time.
Yeah.
I think it's especially because if you bought if World Tour came out for PS2 and they like released the drum set and everything,
Yeah.
you have all this stuff, but now it's obsolete because the new game didn't come out for it. So hopefully, I mean that may have been a reason why too. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that way too many games came out for it. I don't know about like Rock Band 3, but I'm pretty sure Rock Band 2 came out for PS2 also.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's crazy.
Yeah. Crazy.
And I can play the Beatles Rock Band if I ever want to play that, because now I have it.
Nice.
Yeah. But it's great to have like smash hits in Metallica, especially because those are like $50+ now.
Yeah.
So
And I'm thankful that I have those and Van Halen and
yeah, good you kept those. They're harder and harder to get. So yeah.
All right, I think that about does it for this episode.
All right, I think that about does it. So hey, we hope you liked this episode.
Yeah.
If you liked it, give us a like on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe. If you're listening on a podcast platform, please give us a review. We would love to hear how you're liking the
That'd be cool.
podcast. We'd love to interact with you as much as possible.
Yeah. And please download the podcast. The reason I asked for downloads is it gives us an idea of how many people are actually listening.
Better analytics.
Otherwise, we have to go to each individual podcast platform and see and look at their analytics.
Geez, who wants to do that?
And like Apple Podcast doesn't give us any information whatsoever
because we're not nearly popular enough.
Yeah.
So tell a friend.
Yes.
If you know a friend who likes video games and likes the dumb things we say, maybe they'll like this. Word of mouth is very important for podcasts.
That's right.
So we appreciate it. Thank you for listening. You follow us on X/Twitter at the Brothers G Pod.
That's right.
Okay.
Good
That's
night,
it
everybody.
then. Good night. Go play a Wii.